This charming man, Panic, Sheila Take a Bow, There's a Light That Never Goes Out, Hand in Glove och så vidare och så vidare. När det spelas Smiths ute på krogar och klubbar så blir folk alltid så fruktansvärt glada. Det spelar liksom ingen roll vilken låt det är så länge det är The Smiths. Trots att de hade en ganska så kort karriär i mitten av 80-talet och trots att det är över 15 år sedan det senast släpptes en skiva så har de fortfarande extremt hängivna fans. Något som har varit väldigt tydligt i Musikbyråns inkorg ända sedan vi faktiskt nämnde att The Smiths skulle vara med här i programmet. Och nu har det alltså blivit dags. Vi har med hjälp av norska NRK lyckats intervjua samtliga 4 medlemmar. Johnny Marr, Andy Rourke, Mike Joyce och så då självaste Morrissey. Några ställde upp motvilligt och andra mer medvilligt. Och det är lite som att lägga pussel när det gäller The Smiths. Alla medlemmar har nämligen sin bild av vad som egentligen hände och kanske framförallt vems förtjänsten var.
There was an article in the NME, a music magazine, not long ago, saying that the Smiths were the most influential band the last 50 years. Well, what can one say when you hear that? I think it's nonsense.
You're not just judged against your previous work. You're judged against 15 years of magazine articles about the work.
No matter what's gone on, you know, in the courtrooms or whatever, then you have to see past that and just be proud of what you did.
It was always just Johnny and I with the Smiths. We made the Smiths, really.
I still see it as Mike Joyce from Cheltenham Medlock, Andy Rourke and Johnny Marr from Ashton-on-Mersey, and this lad from Stretford.
Manchester i slutet av 70-talet. 4 killar i skolåldern sitter mest på sina pojkrum och spelar, skriver texter eller umgås i band. Om ett par år kommer en 18-årig Johnny Marr knacka på den något äldre Morrisseys dörr och en timme senare är de igång med att skriva låtar till vad som kommer att bli The Smiths. Men det har inte hänt ännu. Nu är det mest konsertbesök och att planka låtar som gäller.
I first met him at a Patti Smith concert, and that was the very first time we were introduced. But it was several years later that he came around and knocked on the door. But people often refer to the time when he knocked on the door as the first time we met. It wasn't. It was at a Patti Smith concert, and I think that was it was either 77 or 78.
He was my favourite singer, and that was really that was a lot to live up to because, you know, I expect a lot. And I was his favourite musician, so that was kind of handy.
We just started immediately, and it was just him and I. Then we had a bass player who left, and then we had a drummer who left, and then we got the other 2 Smiths, and they didn't want to join. They refused to join, and Johnny just made them join.
The first meeting with the band, I went to an audition. I met Johnny and Morrissey and Dale, the original bass player. And it was interesting because Morrissey was at the far side of the room and we weren't even introduced. But he was just prowling up and down from one side of the room to the other, like a caged animal.
I would need other musicians, and if I was beginning with nothing and no history and not playing instruments, then why would anybody have enough faith in me to call the project my name? It would be impossible. So it would have to be a group.
Normally for an audition, you'd have an indication, an idea of what is exactly on offer, because you don't want to waste your time or their time, because you might not like the material that you're playing. So very kind of immature in that way, very kind of young and, you know, drummer, right in, play your drums to this.
know, we were all, kids basically. I was 17, 18 when I started with the Smiths, and I can't believe that, what we achieved at such a young age, really.
1983 släpper The Smiths sina första 2 singlar, Hand in Glove och This Charming Man. En tredje singel kommer ut i januari året därpå innan bandet debuterar i LP-format i februari 1984 med självbetitlade The Smiths. De har redan spelat sig till en hängiven publik och med de första singlarna har recensenterna fått upp ögonen för låtskrivarkombon Morrissey och Marr.
I mean, at that point, I would have been surprised if anyone would have found 2 people in the world who had more power between them because of the love they had for each other and the sort of interest they had in each other and the encouragement. It was like pretty full on, and I think you can hear it in a lot of the music.
I think it's stood the test of time quite well, considering, there's a lot of stuff from the 80s that sounds really, the production and everything sounds really dated and awful, whereas I think because we were quite a traditional sort of guitar-based band, it ages a lot better than a lot of music.
Do you really want to hurt me? Do you really want to make me cry? Well, I think get to know you. Well, so we can be one, we can be one together. Tears come hard in disguise, leading me to feel your body, your heartbeat next to mine.
I remember when we played Top of the Pops, and there'd be Spandau Ballet on, Duran Duran, and we'd turn up with our crazy face jeans on and a jumper, and these bands would have like silver leather suits with chains and makeup and hair, and they kind of looked at us and thought, they don't need to do what I do, and we looked at them and thought, I'm glad I don't have to do that. I'd rather let the music speak for itself. And it's a very hard thing to do, to create your own little fashion icon by not being fashionable.
I en tid av syntare, postpunkare och glammig hårdrock blev The Smiths sound unikt. Mycket på grund av den klassiska sättningen på 4 och låtskrivaren Johnny Marrs musikaliska bredd. Inspirerad av 60-talets soul- och rockscen och imponerad av band som The Hollies, Rolling Stones, Pretenders och Neil Young. Dessutom flankerad av helt andra influenser.
I mean, I was a punk. Punk rock music was, for me, that's what inspired me. The anger, the aggression, the delivery, the excitement, all those aspects of punk rock music.
I was just insane about pop music in the late 60s, early 70s. And 7-inch singles to me were really the way in. And I was fascinated by the power of certain people to say so much within a short space of time. And the recorded noise could be so dramatic.
I would listen to these records, whether it was All the Young Dudes by Mott the Hoople or T-Rex, and I would try and play the whole record. So I would get the chords down. So if the track started with a bass line, for example, I wouldn't wait for the guitar to come in. I'd play the bass line, and then then the chords come in, I'd play the chords. Now, if there was a tricky little riff, and if I played the riff, it stopped the big sound, I would forget the tricky little riff, and I would play the sound of the string line and the vocal line, and stay around there like a one-man band, really.
I think probably the way me and Johnny worked together, because we sort of went to school together since we were 11 and learnt guitar and bass together, so I think we sort of played together quite well. So that was quite a unique thing, the way we played together.
–1985, ett år efter debuten, kommer The Smiths andra studioinspelade album Meat is Murder och går direkt in på första platsen på den engelska topplistan. Morrissey, som hyllats för sina udda och cyniska kärlekstexter och beskrivits som en vardagens samhällsskildrare, kliver nu utanför sig själv och blir politisk i både texter och låttitlar.
There are no other songs in pop music, I don't think, as far as I know, which have the message of Meter's Murder. I think it stands alone, and it's a strong song, and it seems to have worked in the past in the sense that it has inspired lots of people to stop eating animals. I think the statement is well, self-explanatory, really. And we use it because we feel that popular music should be used in order to make serious statements. Because so many groups sell masses and masses of records and don't raise people's level of consciousness in any direction. And we find that quite sinful, especially in these serious times.
How do you come to write them then? I mean, do you first bring in the words and then Johnny puts some chords to it and then everyone else tries to arrange them, or what?
No, Johnny puts the music down on a cassette with guitar, and he gives me the cassette, and I live with the cassette for a few days, and I just wheedle words into the cassette, and then we just all get together, and it just happens at the drop of a cassette. And there we have it.
I'd like to drop my trousers to the world. I am a man of means, of slender means.
But the lyrics would suggest that you're permanently on the verge of despair and suicide.
In a way they do, but in another more serious and affecting way, I don't think they do, because I feel that I write with humour, and I never get recognition for this. But when people say Morrissey is so miserable, to me it's just a lazy journalism. It's just a very surface opinion.
It's such a sad thing.
A lot of people didn't really pick up on the humour. We were sometimes described as being depressing and dour, but if you read Morrissey's lyrics, some of them are hilarious, you know. So I think, you know, it's a mixture of a lot of things why we stood out, I think.
Det var inte bara sångtexterna som byggde upp myten om den miserable antihjälten. Morrissey hade tidigt och tydligt klargjort att referenserna var hämtade från den engelska litteraturen med Oscar Wilde i spetsen. Och idealen fanns hos 50- och 60-talets filmstjärnor och sångerskor. Han använde sig redan från början av flera udda attribut, vilket fick omvärlden att spekulera.
When the flowers were introduced, there was no discussion. Certainly not with me. It might have been with Johnny, I don't know. It certainly wasn't with me. It was just flowers arrived. Wow. And when we did a TV for this charming man, well, there was again flowers everywhere.
Charming car, this charming man. Why pamper life's complexity when the leather runs smooth on the passenger seat?
Then the flowers progressed to gladioli flowers, but in Morrissey's back pocket. And then it was a tree, a eucalyptus tree, about sort of like two meters by 1 meter, and it was really tongue-in-cheek kind of humour, because people could look at it and think, oh, there's that guy with a tree in his back pocket. Well, yeah, can you actually kind of listen to what you're saying? You're having a go at somebody because they have a tree in the back pocket. It's bizarre. The hearing aid when we played Top of the Pops. I didn't even ask him why did he wear a hearing aid. I didn't want to. I just thought he has his own reasons as to why he's wearing a hearing aid. He's not deaf. I was too embarrassed to ask because I know that he'd be embarrassed by me asking him.
The Queen is Dead är av många skattad som den bästa Smiths-skivan. Titeln orsakade problem såklart, men eftersom flera varuhuskedjor dragit in tidigare singlar och album med texterna som förevändning var det ingenting som skrämde The Smiths. Trots att de nu har släppt 3 studioskivor och åtskilliga singlar under 3 år har de också under tiden varit ett aktivt liveband.
And we always used to have stage invasions, so Morrissey used to sort of invite people on and create them, really, I suppose.
Was it dangerous?
Yeah, I suppose it could be, yeah. Because you get people that they're trying the whole gig to get on stage, and then when they get up there, they run up to you and they don't quite know what to do. They don't know whether they want to hug you or smack you or, you know. A lot of the time they'll hug you, but when you're trying to play the guitar, it doesn't sound too good on the guitar when somebody sort of hugs you like this. So, it used to get a little bit irritating, you know, but it was exciting. It was fun. So.
Yeah, it was a pretty phenomenally weird situation, but beautiful at the same time. Absolutely beautiful, you know.
Your mother's only son, and you're a desperate one. But I don't want to love.
I remember playing a gig in the UK, probably early days, about 84, but we'd had a bit of success. And the security guards would come backstage and say, there's some people want to come in, you know, what do you want to do? And we say, well, let them in. And they say, well, there's about 50 people. So? Why not? Oh, okay. Oh, there's people coming. Oh, hi, how you doing? Yeah, I'm fine. Do you enjoy the show? It's not this kind of like, oh, no, fans, keep away, you know, don't let them near, shut the door. You know, what are they going to do? You know, they just want to see the band that they've paid money to come and see. You know, they're paying for the experience.
Tiden efter The Queen is Dead är musikaliskt livaktig men kantas också av problem. The Smiths, som från start varit missnöjda med sitt skivbolag, har efter mycket strul skrivit kontrakt med nytt bolag. Och eftersom bandet aldrig riktigt lyckas hitta en bra manager är det Johnny Marr som fått lösa de problem som uppstått.
Yeah. I couldn't even, I mean, for me it was just, you know, that was hard because, you know, I had other things to consider, you know, like finding the right shoes with the right shirt. So dealing with accountants and court cases and record companies about to go bankrupt was like a little bit sort of beyond my scope of experience.
And the whole band as well, I guess.
Yeah. But it was all meant to be, obviously, because that tension and confusion all went into making the music we did, and I was aware of that at the time. I knew it was a dysfunctional situation, but that's what it kind of made it interesting, you know.
När den sista studioinspelade skivan Strange Ways Here We Come släpps så finns inte The Smiths längre. Johnny Marr har en dryg månad tidigare meddelat att han slutar i gruppen med motiveringen att det musikaliskt inte längre finns utrymme för honom i bandet. Producenten vittnar om att Morrissey allt mer kritiserat hans låtidéer. Och precis innan skivsläppet kommer beskedet att Andy Rourke och Mike Joyce inte heller tänker fortsätta spela med Morrissey.
I remember he showed me the title of Strange Ways Here We Come. He wrote it on a piece of paper and passed it to me. I mean, I've remembered that. Even that is a bit of an odd way to tell the drummer what the title of the album is, to write it on a piece of paper and pass it to me.
Do you have any opinion about the Morrissey cult that still goes on?
Why is it? I don't know. I mean, it's similar to the Smiths thing, I suppose. And I suppose people will follow Morrissey because it's the closest thing they can get to the Smiths, I suppose. And, you know, he was like the main focal point. So, of course, people will still go and, you know, they'll go and see him in concert and they'll buy his records.
I became very, very shy in the late 70s. So I found it very difficult to think how I would possibly do it. And I thought to be on a stage and to sing, I thought you had to be very extrovert and to be very sexual and to be very wild and loud. And I didn't know anybody who was like me, who was singing on a stage. So I found it difficult to imagine being on a stage because I couldn't see anybody who resembled me doing it on a stage. And but I just knew I had to finally do it.
stop me, oh, stop me. Stop me if you think that you've heard this one before. Stop me, oh, stop me. Stop me if you think that you've heard this one before.
I think Morrissey's ingenious way of dealing with pop music, because he's not a pop star. He's a lyricist and a kind of social kind of commentator.
I don't have an opinion on it because it's. I'm more interested in. I've got an opinion on Black Rebel Motorcycle Club, and I've got an opinion on Boards of Canada, and I've got an opinion on Donovan, and I've got an opinion on Muddy Waters, but I don't have an opinion on Morrissey other than like he does what he has to do and he knows what he's doing, and you know, good for him really.
The Smiths har inte funnits sedan augusti 1987. Trots det säljs deras skivor fortfarande i massor. Så fort en ny samling har kommit placerar den sig högt på försäljningslistorna. Gamla fans fortsätter att vara hängivna samtidigt som nya kommer till.
In my old house, there would be people that would come and knock on the door and stuff, and you know, just visiting. So yeah, I mean, the people do kind of come and have a look at those places that are mentioned in the songs, and that are part of the kind of the history of the band.
The people just judge it as this kind of like statuesque, sort of established, you know, mythological thing. And that's a bit of a tough act to live up to.
I tend to get recognised more now, even though I look nothing like I did when I was in the Smiths. I tend to get recognised more now than I did 10, 15 years ago, which is really strange.
And what relation do you have to Smith fans then? Do they sleep at your doorstep or?
No, it's not that bad, thank God, no. Just usually when I go out, if I go out to a club or whatever, I'll have people coming up to me and shaking my hand or asking for an autograph, but it's nothing too crazy.
Talk to my neighbor, I'd rather not get involved.
It all went a bit strange after we split up because there was arguments over payments and stuff like that. I don't know if you know Mike, the drummer, took Morrissey and Mark to court over unpaid royalties, and that's still ongoing. It's a shame. Every 6 months when we're due to be paid, it's the same thing again. It's a lot of phone calls, a lot of arguments, and Morrissey doesn't like putting his hand in his pocket, so to speak. So yeah, it is an ongoing thing, yeah, and it's a shame that money gets in the way of friendship and music, really.
Ja, visst är de lite som ett indiepoppens svar på Beatles. Trots en ganska så kort karriär så är de ständigt lika omskrivna och ständigt lika populära. Och historien om Smiths, den lever vidare, precis då som Andy Rourke var inne på här i slutet av reportaget. Men numera så utspelas den alltså dessvärre i en rättssal. Annars så pysslar alla 4 killarna fortfarande med musik, fast då på skilda håll. Och mest känd är väl förstås då Morrisseys solokarriär. Och kulten runt honom, den är faktiskt ett kapitel helt för sig.